I suck today. And I'm bitter. I'm really, I know, surprise, right? And then I'm bitter? Yeah, I'm totally bitter. So, four things I'm going to talk about today. Alligator Alcatraz, a mysterious fire, what's going on with the NDP, and then I'm going to wrap up what I've been talking about with AI and employment and collapse and how it's way worse and way easier to achieve than I thought. First up, Alligator Alcatraz. Man, Alligator Alcatraz detention center built in 8 days. They can't do anything for the homeless. They can't do anything for the poor. They can't have clean water for people. But they can build a concentration camp in 8 days and sell merch for it. Priorities, priorities. And the NDP. What's going on with the NDP? The NDP used to be about real problems, and real solutions to those real problems. And now they're all about grabbing headlines and gaslighting people. Nova Scotia government failure has made affordability similar in Halifax and Toronto, as if it's their problem. Nova Scotia's NDP says the provincial government's failure to address the cost of living has made affordability in Halifax comparable to that in Toronto, and the party is calling for urgent action, as if somehow Nova Scotia lives in a bubble. It's not like there's an affordability crisis in many locations around the world. You know, and the big problem with Nova Scotia, of course, is these migrants. These damned migrants, right? It's all these migrants that are coming from British Columbia and Ontario looking for cheaper property. You know what the NDP should do? The NDP should build a concentration camp. I hear they can be erected in 8 days. Then you just take all those folks from Vancouver and Toronto and just shove them into the concentration camp. That'll fix it. All right, now this. Owner gutted by destruction of historic building in fire. It's all gone now. And it was almost completely renovated, too. What a shame. I have made comments recently that the value of property on the market right now is less than the replacement value. So you may be further ahead if you burn your property to the ground than trying to sell it on the market. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. Now, I know this building well. I lived in St. Thomas for a while. And this image from Google Maps is pretty indicative of the state of that building. Yes, it had been renovated. They put a lot of work into this thing. But these empty storefronts, that tells you the whole story. Not an economically viable building. Let's just say that. And now, arson suspected in St. Thomas blaze that destroyed heritage building. And they have someone in custody who is known to police. It's funny how these economically non-viable buildings are often the targets of arson. It's quite coincidental. Again, I'm not making accusations. This is just for entertainment purposes. It's just for entertainment purposes. Speaking of entertainment purposes, I've been chatting with AI to try to figure out what the tipping point is of unemployment while AI takes over jobs. Like, at what point does the whole thing fall to the ground? And I have some good news and bad news. The good news is that yesterday I said the tipping point is around 25% unemployment. And apparently it's more around 30 to 40% unemployment. The bad news is that it's going to be really easy to get to 30 to 40% unemployment. First up, let's take a look at the 1980s. In Canada, in 1982, we had unemployment of 12.9%, and in 1992, it hit 12.1%. So that's the kind of thing we're going to see if AI starts taking jobs. But that's bottom up, right? That's jobs disappearing. But what about top down? When the money disappears. That was the Great Depression, and it lasted for a decade, and it was made worse by tariffs. You know, that thing that President Trump is doing now? Yeah, that made it worse. Anyway, nears makes no difference. In the West, it was around 30% unemployment. So that's the top down. That's what will come if the stock market collapses. 30%. Now I'm trying to refine my tipping point, at the point at which where it all collapses. And I've been talking to DeepSeek now, and it seems to think that AI will generate, worst case scenario, 30% job loss, just directly from AI. Best case scenario is 15%, which is pretty bad. It's worse than COVID. That's the best case scenario. But then yesterday I said there's second order impacts. There's the people that lose their jobs because jobs have been lost. And DeepSeek says that's about another 5 or 10% on top of the direct impact. So that's an optimistic 25% or a pessimistic 40%. And this is going to cause the stock market to collapse. And we know from the Great Depression that's 30%. So now we're at 70. And as you can see, it doesn't take long to change. When that event occurs, it just goes. It's not going to take 2 or 3 decades. Let me wrap this up with a statement from DeepSeek. Bottom line, the worst case scenario is avoidable with proactive policy, but absent intervention, OECD economies could face destabilizing unemployment levels within 2 to 3 decades. I don't think it's going to take that long. The tipping point is likely between 30 and 40% sustained unemployment, and as I have just shown you, we can probably get to 70% pretty easy. Do you think they're going to be proactive? Or do you think they're going to build more concentration camps?